We are in the depths of winter, and that means I really want to... And who wants to... Ooh, baby, it is cold outside. We are in the depths of winter, and that means time to cozy up by the fire with a glass of something soul-warming and a winter cheese board. What's a winter cheese board? Well, stick around, my friends, and I will show you exactly what it is. Hi everyone, I'm Erin, founder and chief sommelier here at the Wine Sisters. Welcome to our YouTube channel, where every week we teach you how to eat, drink, and entertain like a pro. It is February here in Toronto. It is a cold snap, and it feels like this is one of the hardest winters that there's been in a number of years. We've had a bazillion extreme cold weather alerts. It's been wind chills of -20 or -25. It hurts your face to go outside. I literally live in a place where it hurts your face to go outside. So for me, that means turning on a roaring fire, pouring a glass of something delicious, and having a winter cheese board. Now, if you remember a couple months ago, we showed you how to put together a spring cheese board, which you can see right here. But what exactly do I mean by winter cheese board? Well, just like what everyone craves in the winter, soups, stews, braises, roasts, and with that, generally a nice hearty red wine, well, that means that we're going to try and pair our cheeses to go with that as well. So unlike last spring when we were talking about lighter mozzarellas and buffalas and creamier cheeses, now we're looking for something with the oomph to stand up to those reds that we crave. Most of the time, I'm interested in having white wines with cheese. I think that the crisper acidity and the brighter fruit notes really help cleanse the palate of that rich dairy that goes on with the cheese. But at this time of year, we're all craving a beautiful red, aren't you? I know I am. And so we want to work backwards. Or if you're a sommelier or a wine lover, you're always picking your wine and then basing your food on that. But if you're somebody who picks your food and then it goes to your wine, you're going to go backwards, if that made any sense to you. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Anyway, so when you're looking for a wine and you want to cozy up by the fire with something big, deep, rich, red, you need to have the cheeses that stand up to it. So I'm going to show you how I like to put together a winter cheese board that's going to give the proper acknowledgement to the wine that I'm pairing with it. Well, first things first. Can we talk about blue? This here is a gorgeous Stilton cheese. I'm a big blue fan, and I put it out on the Instagram before, and a lot of people, it was almost 50-50. There weren't a lot of blue fans out there, and I have to say, pshaw. Blue is where it's at, and I think it goes brilliantly. It's a great pairing for things like Amarones, ports, of course. You can do your really beautiful fruit-forward California Cabernets. You can get into all kinds of great things. Stilton, or any kind of blue cheese with that nice salty picante, it goes really beautiful with red wines. They're a match made in heaven. Give it a try, even if you're hesitant to do so. Next, I also have Comte. This is a really beautiful French cheese. It's very nutty, very alpine-like. It has that really sort of gorgeous kind of raclette style that you would really want to have and enjoy. And this is going to go brilliantly with everything from like your Pinot Noirs, even into your Tempranillos. You're going to do really nicely with some really great Chiantis from France. You can go with almost any French wine and you'll be really well set for it. Gamay, Pinot Noirs, like I said, you can get away with some Bordeaux, some really beautiful Chinons. You'd be really hard pressed to have a bad pairing. So I think this is a really nice nutty cheese that really warms the cockles of the heart when you're on a cold winter night. I also have this really gorgeous Chev De Payot. Now, if you've been following us on the Instagram for a while, this, again, we're at French, but this one is more of a goat's cheese. It's got this really telltale ridgy rind, and it also has this sort of creamier center that gets a little bit more solidly white, and then you have this sort of more transparent part as it moves out towards the edges. And I'm going to show you something really cool about how we can make that really work. I also, if you want to start to add in a few nuts and things. Now, guys, I'm actually leaning more towards having a very simple cheese board. A few years ago, I visited Beaune, France, Cook's Atelier, and you can see right here from this picture, they do their cheese boards very, very simply in France. I understand the internet and Instagram trend is to overload them. And of course, at the Wine Sisters, we do that too, really overflowing and abundant cheese boards, and they're gorgeous. Right now, my trend is to do something really simple, but if you want to add more to it, I'm going to show you a little bit about what I'm doing. I like pecans. Actually, I met somebody from the Southern American states, and she said it's not pecan. That's what you do in church when you can't find a toilet. I know. It's pecan, whatever. I think, you know, the way that you look at pecan pie, pecan tarts, they offer a really nice warming winter feel to your cheese board. You can toast them up and give them even more of a roasted flavor. I have some whole wheat sourdough, so some whole grain sourdough that's been lightly toasted that I'm just going to sort of put off to the side here. I also like to have some chips. I think chips and wine are brilliant. So I'm using truffle chips, but I've also used just simply salted chips. Salt and vinegar chips works really nicely. I'm gonna put that right there and see what happens. Put that right like that. And then I've got a couple of dips. Everybody likes dips, and I like how these are served. This one is, this one's a red pepper jelly, everyone's favorite. So I'm just gonna put this right here, and I'm just gonna serve them in these cute little jars. And when I was in the Rhone not too long ago, everywhere that I went, they served this black olive spread. So I absolutely love it. They serve it the way that in North America we might get bread and butter on the table before the meal. They will serve you bread with a little bit of tapenade, and I think it's gorgeous. So I add that now to just about everything. I've got a couple of little golden spoons. Aren't those cute? Aren't those just the cutest? That I'm going to add, that I'm just gonna put in there, and that gives it a nice little flair. And I'm just gonna keep it really simple. If I wanted to, I could put a little bit of orange segments or maybe some rosemary sprigs, but I think this is simple enough. And I'm going to show you now how to elevate your cheese as well. Some of you might be wondering why I've got my blue cheese on a separate board. We've talked about this as well. Blue cheese, as much as this hurts my heart, can be really divisive for people. You know, like I said on the Instagram poll that we did, 50% were like thumbs down and 50% were all in. So by keeping it just a little bit separate, yes, it's on the same board, but just a little bit separate, and each cheese will have its own knife, by the way. Of course, you don't want to be cross, you know, putting your blue cheese into your goat cheese and your goat cheese into your Comte. That's just gross. Give everybody their own cheese. But this way, it'll just sort of stay a little bit on its own, a little bit self-contained, and it won't give the people who, for whatever reason, don't like blue cheese, they won't get the heebie-jeebies about it. So I serve that on its own little board. And I'm going to show you right now how we're going to elevate this Chev De Payot. Ready? As Julia Child says, hang on, wait for it. As Julia Child says, every woman should own a blowtorch. And so you're just gonna start to blowtorch the cheese really easily. We're just going to brulee the outer bits of this a little bit nicely, and it really elevates the cheese into something really delicious and fun. And you can see how it gets all like bubbly and crumbly, and it has that nice brulee top. That's actually a trick that my bud Kyle McClure, the chef at Vantage Venues, taught me, and it's also just half the fun is actually bruleeing. So this is my winter cheese board. It's got some hearty cheeses. We've got the nutty Comte. We've got that charred note on the goat's cheese, the Payot. We have that really salty picante blue cheese, absolutely delicious. And of course we have some nuts and some accoutrements to offset and pair with our cheeses. Now, again, when we're looking at pairing wines that are going to go really nicely with cheese, these are gonna stand up really well to our reds. In my particular case, I just pulled out of the cellar a California Cabernet, a Northern Rhone. We have a Nebbiolo from Piemonte. And these wines, they have a nice tannic structure. There's an elegance to them. There's a power to them. So we want to make sure that our cheeses have the weight to stand up to the same full-bodiedness of the wines. We want to make sure that our cheeses have the stuffing, so that salty element, that flavorful element to stand up to that pleasing bitterness of the tannic structure, as well as the sort of earthy and spicy components of these wines. And as well, the fruit forwardness on this wine is going to pair nicely with these cheeses the same way that when you start to put spreads and dips, that's going to work as well. So really think about when you're putting together your cheese boards, or any food at all, that you really want to make sure that your wines match your food, both in terms of weight as well as you can flavor match, and you want to make sure that everything is going to go really nicely so that they bring out the best in each other. In fact, last week we had a great little video on pairing chocolate and wine, so you can watch that here if that's something that interests you. So I hope this helps you out. I hope this gives you some inspiration and some ideas for you to hunker down this winter with someone you think is absolutely worth hunkering down with. Pour yourself a beautiful glass of your favorite red, bring out some excellent cheeses, and have yourself a beautiful snowed in evening. Friends, I'm Erin from the Wine Sisters. If you like this video, please leave us a comment, give us a like, hit that bell and subscribe so you're alerted to every time we drop a new wine video, which would be every Wednesday. And until next week, friends, stay well, drink better. Cheers.